many of you are familiar with mental skills. It's creating these basic skills, the like breathing or neutral thinking, things that we do day in and day out and making them sacred. So we can't get enough of practice, like putting, for example. Like you do the same skills every single day, but we practice it intentionally. And that's the point of mental training. And that's what we want to introduce to you all. So the MPGA approach, we really firmly believe in these three foundational skills. Number one, this first concept that we believe in is that mental training is basic. It's not rocket science, but it's hard to do. So it's not easy. Mental training is just like physical conditioning in that you have to work on it consistently and it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. You may experience some quick wins, and then all of a sudden, guess what happens? Old habits kick in. The way that we used to think about certain scenarios or get bombarded with these negative thoughts, even though we've trained how to think neutrally, we're still going to struggle with our old habits. And that's okay. That's part of the process. And when we fall down, it's not if we fall down, it's when we fall down. So how do you deal with those losses? How do you deal with the challenges that golf brings, just like life? So it's a long journey. We got to think of this process as a marathon, not a sprint. Number two, the second concept in MPGA is victory goes to the vulnerable. What does that mean? Victory goes to the vulnerable. A lot of times people think that being vulnerable is weak. Like, I don't like to feel uncomfortable. I don't like to feel vulnerable, sharing my emotions, sharing my thoughts and feelings around certain things, or feeling afraid. You cannot be courageous without being vulnerable. Because if you look at the definition of vulnerability, what is it? Vulnerability in the research requires these three things. Number one, there's uncertainty. Number two, there's risk involved in being vulnerable. And number three, vulnerability is emotional exposure, when you're exposing some emotions. So why this concept of victory goes to the vulnerable? When you begin learning the mental skills and start applying it, but you come into a situation where you're feeling super, super nervous, and oftentimes we gravitate towards old habits and it's comfortable. We keep doing the same things thinking that it's going to work because it's comfortable, rather than challenging ourselves to do something different in that moment. Does that make sense? So when you're on the first tee and you get so overwhelmed with your thoughts on mechanics because you're so careful that you don't want to hit a bad shot and embarrass yourself. So you think that focusing on your technique over the first tee shot is going to help you because that's what you've always done. It's just a comfortable way of going through your mental process. But when you start learning this stuff, and Coach Jay and I and other coaches, we're going to challenge you to let go of that. The things that made you comfortable, let go of that. For this shot, all I want you to think about is target. Don't think about anything else. You're so fixated on that target, like throwing a ball. If I ask you to throw a ball in my hand without thinking about how you're going to do it, you just look at the target and you throw it at me. You commit to it. There's no hesitation. Sometimes we feel very naked when we try something new, when it matters, when there's pressure on us. But that's victorious. Even if you fall flat on your face and you hit a bad shot, you tried something new in that process, and that we're going to give you credit for. We're going to really celebrate the progress. That's what we mean by victory goes to the vulnerable. You will win. You will progress. You will grow when you choose to do different things when it matters the most. Victory goes to the vulnerable. The third and final concept in the foundations of MPGA training is confidence is an action. Confidence is a behavior. It's something that we do. It's not something we wait around for to feel, or like, oh, I'm not feeling confident, therefore I'm not going to play well. Many people, they've trained themselves to be it until they see it, because motion creates emotion. Remember that motion, the way you move your body, the way you talk to yourself, that motion creates the emotion. And it works both ways. If your motion is very slumped and really kind of negative, and you're beating yourself up and you're looking down and it's like, oh, this again, like, oh, what now? Those motions are going to create the emotions that follow that. So you're going to start to feel negative. You're going to start to see negative things. You're going to start to have a pity party. That just is natural. But if your emotions are more open, spread out, big, feeling, talking, just, confidently, the emotions will follow. So confidence is an action. Here we go. I want all of us to do an exercise here. Okay. And I can't see you, and it's okay. I don't care if you're in your living room. I don't care if you're in your car, out on the course, wherever you're watching this or hearing this. I want you to have a very big open posture, just like this gentleman here. However you want to hold your body to feel powerful. So my power pose, I'm just going to just stretch out. I'm going to hold my chest up, and I'm going to hold it for 15 seconds. Okay. I'm going to count out loud, and I want you to hold your power position, power pose, for 15 seconds. Okay. Ready? Hold a very confident pose. Here we go. 15 seconds starting now. I want you to take a deep breath, look around in a very confident manner, saying, yeah, I feel big. I feel strong. Say these things to yourself. I feel ready. I am here. I am present. Confidence in action. I can do it. Good. 5 more seconds. Hold it big. Look around in a very confident stance and release. Good. Now, here's the trick. Before a big event, before a big meeting, before a big test at school, a lot of times we go into the mirror in the bathroom, or we're in the car, and we are in a very safe place where we can express our big confident stance, looking ourselves in the mirror and rehearsing these things. So every time I have a big presentation, and I've talked to thousands of people in the audience, I go into the bathroom just, maybe 30 minutes before they call me up on stage, or 15 minutes before. And I do my power poses. I really do this, guys. I stand in front of the mirror, and it's kind of like Cool Runnings. It's an old movie, you're looking yourself in the mirror, and you're literally holding yourself in a big posture and saying confident things that you can believe in. You know what? I've done this. I've prepared. I put in the work. I trust myself. And even if I make a mistake, I'm going to be okay. You say things that you mean and that you can believe, and you hold yourself in a very positive, confident posture. Try that. When you do it for a minute in front of a mirror, it really changes your mood and your emotions. So you're walking into on stage or to the first tee very big. And that's what we want to do. Okay. Confidence is an action. Just wanted to give you that little tidbit on where confidence comes from, how to generate it, and how to sustain it.